Hey, good evening. I'm here to talk to you about my book, Shelter. I wanted to tell you a little bit about where this book came from. For a while, the Lord was teaching me about being reliant, and I suppose He still is. Um, Being reliant is something that I always viewed as weak or, you're dependent and helpless. But when I looked it up in the dictionary and the thesaurus, a lot of the words that go along with reliant are actually strong words, like steadfast and unmoving. Um, and I guess that just showed me that when I rely on God, um, I'm sturdy and stable and um, not as weak, actually. It actually makes me stronger when I rely on God. And so I was praying about that and asked the Lord, give me a story about this because um, that's just something I do. I love to write a children's book about things that God is teaching me. And so the first thing I knew about this book was that it was going to be about a turtle. And I kind of played around with that, thought, okay, what is this, what is it about this turtle? And gradually the story just came. It's amazing. I I just feel like my inspiration comes from God. Other people may have their own ideas about where inspiration comes from, but it's amazing to me how I either have a story or I don't. And if I don't have the story, it's no use trying to work at it. But this is one that came pretty. It was difficult at first because I didn't really know what the story was, but then as soon as I knew the story, it just all fit together. And I just sat down one Sunday afternoon and I wrote it on different pieces of paper and drew all the pictures, and that was a lot of fun. And it looks a lot like the original pictures that I drew, except that those were in pencil and didn't have color. Yeah, where was I going next? Okay. So, this story is about a turtle who is looking for shelter from a storm. And what he doesn't see is that his shelter is already with him. Because the owl comes and says, "Hey, there's a storm coming." And his little friend Lizard runs away to go home, and Turtle says, "I don't have a home." So the rest of the book, he goes on to look for his home. And gradually at the end, it takes another friend, Snail, who says, "What's the matter?" Turtle says, "I don't have a home," and Snail laughs at him. Because Snail sees, you have shelter, you have a home, and you need to see that and you need to rest in that. And sometimes I think as a Christian, it takes other Christians to come along and say, "Hey, remember, you do have shelter. There's someone looking out for you, and you can rely on him, and he is good." And yeah, anyway, it's just fun to share this with you, just a little tidbit. I didn't really go with like Bible verses or anything in this book because so often I think that I just don't think that's always the best way to convey the truth. Sometimes that puts a little bit of pressure on people and makes it harder for them to see. I know that's true for me. The Bible can be misused, and I didn't want to misuse it. So I didn't put it in my book, but I hope that my book has conveyed something of the truth that is in the Bible. So thank you for watching and for reading my books and being fantastic. I've been very blessed. Love you all.